Hey, party people!
Howdy, howdy.
Party people in the house! We're a little tired from the
We stayed up way too late all weekend.
daylight savings time change bull.
We stayed up late no matter what, even if that didn't happen.
Not as late.
Well, no, we stayed up as late. We just lost an hour also.
We stayed up even later. We time traveled. We all took a time travel.
That we did, yes.
You ready for episode 14?
I'm very ready.
Quacky Medicine?
14. Yes.
ReddMetal. CraZy talk? Alright. This is one you picked. You picked the topic. But then I put my own spin on it. And then thinking about it, I didn't do a damn thing that you asked me to do. There's maybe like a couple that fit into your category. But otherwise, I went a little bit different direction.
Well, I didn't give you an idea. I gave you inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
I gave you inspiration, and then you do your own thing with it.
You're my muse.
Yeah.
So if you want to be my muse and you're on our Facebook page, feel free to make suggestions for future podcasts.
Even though she won't do that, she'll just use it for inspiration and do her own thing anyways.
Yeah, I'll put a little red spin on it.
Yeah.
Spin it up.
All right.
Spin it right round, baby. All right. Are you ready? I have to control two devices at once. It gets a bit cumbersome.
That's okay. I only have to control one.
All right, let's do it.
All right. There you go.
Now, episode 14, Quacky Medicine. But first, before we get started, we can't jump the gun. It's time for housekeeping.
Ooh. She look nice.
Maybe next time I'll have one for the ladies.
She look nice.
I'll have one for the ladies.
She almost kind of looked like a Jenny McCartney a little bit too.
Maybe.
All
right. So, standard housekeeping. Chat along with us. We love that. Hey, Taylor.
Yeah, he showed up right in time.
Yeah.
Hey, she looking nice, right, Taylor?
Don't worry, ladies. Got a little something for the ladies next time.
All right.
Taylor can show up later. Missed that if he wants. Okay. So, I lost my train of thought because I started looking at her boobs too. I got sidetracked. Okay.
I guess Taylor's still doing caps, and Nightbot doesn't like it.
Oh, Taylor's caps get him in trouble.
I haven't gone and looked at my settings to figure out how to do that yet. Yeah, you troublemaker.
All right.
Troublemaker.
So this week, chat along with us. Feel free to like, subscribe, or follow and subscribe. It's different here, right? You can watch all of our past episodes on Twitch or on our
we upload
YouTube,
the VODs onto YouTube.
On our YouTube channel. And you can also follow along, make suggestions, and talk about the content on our Facebook page if you haven't joined that. And then today's PSA, I thought I would talk about social justice, like the social justice warriors. I don't have a lot to say about that because there's a lot going on with cancel culture and just a lot going on in society. More than I remember there ever being in terms of social equality and social justice. So all I'm going to say is it's cool to stand for something. It's cool to get involved. Whatever it is that matters to you that much, even though I might not agree with everything that's happening right now, the cool thing is we're seeing
a lot of it.
A lot of what's happening right now. We're seeing our younger generation actually take a stand for things, and that's totally cool. Because if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. So even if I may not agree with what's going on, at least they have taken a stand and something matters to them. And I would encourage that everybody find something that mattered to them and take a stand for it. So that's my PSA for the day.
All right, sounds good.
You want to get started, or you want to talk about what you stand for?
What do I stand for?
I don't know. Beer?
Beer. And tacos.
No beer left behind?
Beer and tacos. Occasional burger and pizza mixed in there.
All right, Quacky Medicine. Y'all prop this up right here. See if I can go through this. Okay, before I start...
That's tiny text.
Yeah, before I start, I'll explain why later. It's not cool, and I'm unhappy about it, so don't bring it up. Okay, so Quack is a practitioner who suggests the use of substances or devices for the prevention or treatment of a disease that is known to be ineffective. That's a quack, right? Or someone who tries to practice medicine and has no qualifications, whatever.
Right, no licensing or whatever.
So a lot of what you'll see here in this podcast today will be about patent medicine. It reached its peak of popularity in the 20th century. As the name implies, people just got patents for a bunch of stuff, and there was no FDA. So it was just sort of like, I made this and I patented it and it's mine.
Right. They used to have like apothecaries that were like travel on a cart.
like the medicine.
Yeah, and they would go from like town to town and sell you bullshit that didn't work.
Yeah. So, the classic form of medical quackery in the U.S. market was patent medicine, which we just talked about. After the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906, the government began to regulate the sale of this stuff. And then we didn't have a problem with it until essential oils came up.
Essential oils is the new quack medicine.
No, I didn't say that. I never said that. I didn't say that. If you have Sensity or whatever you're selling, True Life, I thought
Sensity was fragrances out of wax burners.
What's the oil one?
True Life? I don't know. I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, there is. Okay. True Life.
Yeah, I think Sensity's legit. It's just like, oh, this shit smells good. Plug it in. Plug it in. That was Glade. Yeah. Those don't smell as good. That Sensity shit's pretty good.
We should do a podcast on jingles, but they kind of give some of them give themselves away, so it's a little hard to do. All right, so let's talk about asthma cigarettes. I didn't make this up.
So these are cigarettes that give you asthma? Because I think that's most cigarettes, right?
So asthma is a fairly common chronic disease. We all know that, right? And people have different triggers that make them become asthmatic. So what I thought was interesting that has nothing to do with this is, did you know about 10% of Australians are asthmatic? That's a pretty high number.
What's our percentage?
It's amongst the highest in the world, and no one knows why.
Damn kangaroos.
No.
People are allergic to kangaroos.
Oh, it's Cincy. Yes,
not
Cincy.
Sin City.
Yeah.
Sin City. That's a damn good Bruce Willis movie.
Okay.
Made after a cartoon or a comic strip. Okay, I'm getting off topic.
So the direction for these cigarettes was exhaust the lungs of air and then fill the mouth with smoke and take a deep breath, drawing the smoke down into your lungs. Hold it and then exhale through your nose and mouth 4 times daily to cure asthma. This was a asthmatic cure. And you'll see Dr. Wetzel's. I like how they always have Dr. somebody. Like, this is Dr.
And they probably weren't even a doctor.
Dr. Schifferman and Dr. Wetzel. It says for the temporary relief of I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It's on your...
Paroxysms?
I don't know. Of asthma. Contains no tobacco.
So tobacco-less cigarettes.
Tobacco-less asthma cigarettes. I should have looked up what was in them. To be burned and inhaled only. I'm not sure what else you would do with them.
Put them in your butt. Hey, people put everything in their butts. I ain't gonna... Just happens.
Oh,
it just happens. Things just end up in butts.
Oh, Raina says it's from running all the shit that can kill you in Australia.
That gives you asthma?
It gives them asthma.
That's very possible.
Yeah, so I have a little problem going on. My text is super, super, super small today. And I'm going to try to make it happen. So we need to go to the next one here. Oh, y'all don't think I've lost my mind. There we go. So...
Morphine
for diarrhea. So if you don't have doctor, you have Mrs. So apparently the women were Mrs. So Mrs. Winslow cures dysentery and diarrhea. Doctors. She'll relieve gripping in the bowels and colic with morphine. Morphine was added to medications such as cough syrups to be used as a cough suppressant, and parents gave morphine-laced syrups to their children to treat constipation, and constipation is a known side effect of opiates, and since they were giving their kids a ton of different opiates that we'll talk about, they had to give them morphine so that they could shit.
That makes sense. But we use morphine as a painkiller, right?
Yeah. And they put your kids to sleep, too, if they're colicky.
Now, did any of this stuff you read or research tell you whether the stuff worked?
Oh, and knock you the fuck out?
No. Did this cure diarrhea?
Yes, because it's also... Yes.
Oh, wait. Was this to give you diarrhea?
No.
Or to...
Why would you buy something to give you diarrhea?
It's called X-Lax.
No, it cures... It relieves the gripping of the bowels.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Was this to prevent diarrhea? Or was it to cure diarrhea?
To cure diarrhea.
Okay, so you took it when you had diarrhea, not when you were constipated.
Yeah, because the opiates would give you... Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I can't stop shitting. I need some Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup.
Yeah, because it's known...
But this was for children. Did they have an adult one?
It's weird. They marketed a lot of that shit to their kids. I think they were just trying to put their kids to sleep. I don't think they really cared about any of the rest of it. Lolo says she's allergic to morphine. I am too. I'm allergic to morphine. I found that out birthing one of my children. They pumped me full of morphine right after they did the C-section, and I got really sick.
I thought it was a different one you were allergic to.
I'm also allergic to naproxen, which is a...
No, I knew that. Naproxen. I thought that was something else, though.
Yeah, I'm allergic to morphine as well, Lolo, so it's not... Yeah, not cool. But yeah, it's really weird. They gave all this shit to kids, basically. I'm sure adults were taking it, too. A little for mommy, a little for baby, a little for mommy.
Yeah, there is lots of poop talking already, and only 12 minutes in, he said. Well, not only poop talking, putting cigarettes in butts, too.
Oh, that was you. That was all you.
Yeah, okay.
I apologize in advance, guys. I've got the white trees. The white trees are a blooming right now in Texas.
The semen trees.
We call them the semen trees, and they're messing with me bad. It doesn't matter what I take. I lose my voice, and I've got a pounding headache. So, yeah, morphine for diarrhea. Cure all your ailments with all the opiates. So, heroin cough syrup was a big thing for kids, marketed for kids as well, but also for adults, because I know you're going to ask.
Well, it's funny that
the problem has been solved by glycoheroin.
To me, it's funny that it's not like, oh, well, this product happened to have heroin in it, or this item happened to be, heroin was one of the main ingredients, or later we found out heroin's bad for you. But like they literally advertise it, you know what I mean? Like they didn't find out like, oh, one of these ingredients is bad for you. Let's figure out which one it is. Oh, it's the heroin. And then they give it the name heroin or whatever. Like,
no, it was already heroin.
Heroin was been around forever. So
yeah, and this is like, I mean, these companies producing this stuff are like Bayer. They're still around. They're not companies that went away. So Bayer, you'll see Bayer and Elderfield or whatever they're called. That's part of the Bayer family. So Raina says the damn trees are raping me. Yeah, same problem. Semen trees. Stay away from those white blooms. It's almost as bad as cedar. All right, so in 1895, German drug manufacturer Bayer released its latest cough syrup, which they sold under the name heroin.
That's what I'm saying. They just straight up called it heroin. That's what I was thinking. It's like they ain't even like trying to hide the fact it's got heroin in it. They called it heroin.
Well, they marketed it as a safer alternative to morphine. That was being used for the same thing on children.
Yeah, real subtle.
Yeah. So you're going to have to help me.
Now, does heroin cure the cough?
As much as the morphine did.
That cured diarrhea.
And cough. I've said that. I don't know if you caught me to say that.
I didn't hear that part.
They also used it for cough. There's a lot of cure-alls, like Dr. So-and-so's bottle of cure-all. And it's like, the list is like this long.
We still have shit like that today.
Like you have hiccups, you have like diarrhea,
you got a Pepto. Rash. Look at the whole list of things Pepto relieves.
Yeah, but they're all like intestinally related or gastrointestinal.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
So I'm not, but this is like, I mean, stupid stuff like unwanted vaginal sores and a toothache. I mean, it's just like, it's bizarre.
And hair loss.
And hair loss. Yeah, there was some hair loss ones that I didn't put on.
Like just shit that wasn't.
I didn't want you to think I was shaming you, so I left the hair loss ones off.
I ain't got no problem with my hair. I ain't shaved in my head.
Got no hair.
Look at all this nice long, this hair.
Your only problem is no problem at all. All right.
That's very true.
Sorry, guys. I'm going crazy on the presentation. All right. So, of course, I would be remiss to leave off cocaine. We've already talked about morphine in there too, right? And heroin. And so these are the cocaine tooth drops. So I love this. It says, instantaneous cure for 15 cents. And this probably wasn't like those ones you used to get at the... Remember they used to sell those Ludes or what, Ludens? They taste like cherry candy. They didn't do a damn thing for your cough, but they were marketed as cough drops. These are cocaine cough drops. And what I thought was interesting is they actually used to like soak cotton balls in cocaine and put it on your tooth and then just yank your tooth out.
Well, I thought when cocaine was first discovered that it was thought of as like almost like a numbing pain reliever. Yeah.
It's a local anesthetic or a topical.
And supposedly it could possibly still work that way. It actually worked for that purpose from what I understand. Yeah. But it's like it's a bad drug, so it's not used.
Yeah.
But it actually works for that reason.
Exactly. So in the 1800s, cocaine was considered for local anesthesia. So like I told you, they would put a cotton ball of cocaine on your mouth and rip your freaking tooth out and then put some more cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine. You know what I had for breakfast?
Cocaine. You know what I have for lunch?
Cocaine. She doesn't say cocaine. She says cocaine or something. She says it weird. Yeah, so they used it in a lot of dental procedures, and then of course they made it. They would numb the patient's gums. So we've had morphine, cocaine. I could have continued to go on. Almost every illicit drug like this, and there was tons of cannabis cures. I could have gone on and on about all the opiates that they use. So, yeah, cocaine, toothache. My back hurts. Gotta do a rail of cocaine. All right, Taylor, hope you feel better. All right. Bloodletting. You know I wasn't going to let us get too far into this without bloodletting, which was popular up till the 20th century.
Yeah, bloodletting was a thing for a minute.
Yeah, and it was a standard treatment for various conditions such as plague and smallpox to epilepsy and gout. It was a cure-all. Like, they literally were like, drain the blood. And most of that came from Hippocrates, an ancient Greek physician. He believed in the four humors, the liquids in your body. One being blood. The other is, I gotta read it because I can't remember. But it's yellow bile, phlegm, blood, and black bile are your four humors. And they believed that those controlled like pretty much everything that goes on in your body, and that they were responsible for physical ailment and mental ailment. So pretty much anything had to do with those four.
And bloodletting was just basically cutting open a vein or an artery or something and letting it just bleed out.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. Just let it bleed. And then, of course, I didn't put on here. Okay, so I did put how it happens. You make an incision either close to the part of the body requiring the treatment or an opposite spot on the body that allegedly responds to the organ. Because you've heard the whole idea of the opposites, right? That it's the opposite. It's located in the opposite. And I didn't put anything about leeches, but we've talked. I knew you'd ask about it or would think that I'd have about leeches, but it's almost the same freaking premise.
Yeah, the leeches were just drinking the blood from you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of you cutting it open, you were letting leeches get
Leeching.
it from you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of. I don't know that. I mean, they truly believe this shit, but I can't see how if you're having like problems with fatigue, letting your blood out is going to let you be less fatigued. Wouldn't it have the opposite effect?
Yeah. And you think like today that would be crazy if a doctor was like, here, let me just bleed you out. But you have to think about in the time, if that was the common practice, then how's that any different than, hey, let me go get a shot in my arm or whatever. You know, that's just what you expect when you go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And
you just believed it worked. So you just said, here you go.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln obviously supported bloodletting because I couldn't.
Because he looks like him?
Yeah. He let the guy borrow his hat. This is what I was thinking. This is what I go through.
So Abe Lincoln's the guy on the left.
Yeah, I go through this in my head when I'm making my podcast. So I'm like, Abe gave the doctor his hat so that he could get his bloodlet. That's what I was thinking. I digress. So this is maybe my favorite of the entire podcast. And they are Dr. Williams, because you got to have a doctor.
Dr. Someone.
Dr. Williams, pink pills for pale people.
Or you could just go get some sun.
It says a balanced compound of iron and other necessities or necessary minerals. Yeah, so pink pills for pale people originated in Canada because no American thought of that in the 1800s.
They more pale up in Canada.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Good day, Canadians. Sorry if we offended you.
No, they know they're pale.
We don't say good day. We say.
That's like Australian.
What do we say? Hey, Canadians. Ayo.
I don't know. I'm not Canadian.
Anyway, they were invented in Canada and they traveled around the world. Widely advertised as iron-rich tonic for bloods and nerves, the curative qualities of Mr. Pink's pills were touted as a treatment for a long list of diseases. So another cure-all. I think you said.
So it's marketed for pale skin, but it did all kinds of other shit.
Yeah, and everything else. Iron for paleness, ... Just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You know you could just go get in the sun, right?
Maybe you live somewhere where there's no sun. That literally happens.
Where's there never sun?
On places where there isn't any. Like where it doesn't go there as often as it does.
The sun doesn't go anywhere. It stays in one place at all times.
I mean, that's not what I mean.
The sun never moves.
I mean where it doesn't, like, like in Alaska where
they have sun in Alaska. They have daylight,
but not as much.
Okay, doesn't mean they don't have any.
They don't have as much. They might need pink pills for pale people up there.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that.
There's places that stay dark more than it's light.
Yes, that's true.
And there's places where the sun doesn't shine as much. Are you good?
Yeah.
You good? Because we're like 15 minutes into the podcast and you're already yawning.
Hey, that happens sometimes. It's just a habit.
All right. So the next one was, I called them soda pop cures, but it's basically Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper. So they were both marketed as brain tonics originally. Dr. Pepper was invented in 1885 by a Texas pharmacist. We know that.
Well.
And sold as a brain tonic.
Technically, the story I heard, it wasn't the pharmacist that invented it. It was his apprentice. And the pharmacist's name was Dr. Pepper. And it became a popular drink. And the guy who actually invented it named it after the pharmacist he worked for because he was trying to court the pharmacist's daughter. And he was trying to get brownie points, so he named it after after the pharmacist who was a doctor.
Yeah, there was no proof of that.
Yeah, that's the story I heard, though.
Could be. Coca-Cola is well documented as well in 1885, so around the same time, by a pharmacist, and touted also as a brain tonic. Both of them were. When Coca-Cola was invented, cocaine was legal and a common ingredient in medicines, and people thought it was safe to use it in small amounts, and there was cocaine in the original Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Yes, there was.
But not in the original Dr. Pepper.
Not that I read, no.
No.
And they called Dr. Pepper Liquid Sunshine, king of beverages. And I read at one point they made him dropped the doctor to kind of get away from quack medicine because they didn't want to be affiliated with quack medicine. So they dropped the doctor at one point. So that's kind of weird. I can't imagine.
They're just called Pepper?
I am Pepper.
Pepper's already a thing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Can't just become Pepper. Sorry, I have to finish my drink before we can move on. Because of that stupid semen tree. Okay.
The tapeworm diet. What? That's real?
That's for reals, y'all. And it's Dr. Quacks because you have to have a doctor. You can't just have anybody.
Is this where the word is this the actual thing that the word quack came from?
I don't know. That's hilarious. But this is actually a real thing. I did do a marginal amount of fact checking. So I will put that out there. But this is just like you would think. You would take a pill, which is a tapeworm egg, and then you would give yourself a tapeworm, and then the tapeworm would thereby eat up all the food that you eat, and you wouldn't gain weight. The problem with that is you are infesting your body with the tapeworm, and tapeworms don't just eat your extra calories. Like, they don't differentiate. Like, yeah, let me eat half your calories and leave you with the other half. It's not good. You can die. So they actually did that, and a lot of people died. You basically gave yourself a tapeworm infection. That's exactly what you did. And then the idea was then you would treat it later, like after you lost the weight you wanted to lose.
Get rid of life-threatening fat.
Yeah.
With a non-threatening parasite.
Without exercise, dieting, or surgery.
But they're saying the fat is life-threatening, but the parasites you're putting in your body is
So it says thousands of men and women have already experienced the wonder of Mother Nature's body shaper. Wow. AKA the tapeworm. Those friendly little creatures can reside harmlessly inside your body and consume your extra calories. And your regular calories as well. That's right. No more worrying about your waistline. Stay thin.
Dang, Taylor is still pissing off Nightbot.
Yeah, this was real. And again, I did a reasonable amount.
Oh, he was pointing out to the box says it's flavorful. How's
Where?
a tapeworm flavorful?
That? Where does it say that? Oh, it says. Oh, not only does it say flavorful, it says safe for kids. Safe for kids. Where does it say flavorful? Where'd you see that, Taylor?
It says right here, sanitized, flavorful, completely safe.
Oh, Sanitized. Not sure how they did that. Flavorful. Oh, and it said for a fine physique. Like they were all about. Nowadays, you're lucky if you get like those Mint Dentistry advertisements where you don't even know what they're advertising. They just have a person on their billboard with a smile. And back then, they gave you all the information.
Not even for Mint.
Yeah, Mint
says...
says...
They don't even smile. It's just some dude standing here like this.
Mint Dentistry.
And I'm like, what does that have to do with the dentist office at all? It's just some suave-looking guy with his mouth. I don't even see your teeth. Nothing.
It's subtle advertising. Back then, they gave you, like, literally all the information. And most of it wasn't even accurate. So, tapeworm diet.
I should try that.
Let's
get rid of some of this beer fat.
Like my dad says, let's don't and say we did. Let's don't and say we did there. All right. So, the medical vibrator.
I've heard many stories about
I'll
these.
tell you my story first, because it's not the same story as yours.
Oh, I'm not going to tell no story. I'm just going to listen to yours.
So these appliances were promised relief of a non-sexual variety. For users of all ages on every body part, soothing pains of tired housewives, calming cries of children that were colicky, invigorating bodies of working men, dealing with tired backs and sore feet, even laryngitis and sinus pressure, calming stomachs of colicky babies, and stimulating hair growth in balding men. I'm waiting for you to tell me the best part about this. In 1912, the Hamilton Beach New Life Vibrator came with a 300-page instructional manual called Health and How to Get It, offering a cure for anything from obesity to appendicitis or tuberculosis or vertigo from using the Hamilton Beach New Life Vibrator.
So that literally took care of everything.
That's a cure-all. I'm waiting for you to... Okay, I'll just tell you the thing. I know what you told me about vibrators.
Oh, yeah.
So you can tell that story.
Oh, all I said about that was I remember hearing a story about how back in the 50s, I think it was, maybe 60s, I don't remember. When did this thing come out? Did it say?
You keep talking, I'll tell you.
Well, anyways, back in that decade, women, lonely housewives, would make doctor calls, like house calls.
1912 is
1912. Well, I think this was closer to 40s or 50s. But doctors would make house calls for the wives and basically would just masturbate them. Yeah. And the doctor knew he was going to the house to masturbate the wife, and the wife knew the doctor was coming to masturbate her. And she would just wait for the doctor to get there, and he'd come there, and he would masturbate her. And then she would pay her bill, and he would pack up his little box, and he would go home or to the next lonely housewife's house. But yeah, that was like... And the whole thing was, but it's curing something.
Yeah, so I looked that up, and it's not true.
Oh, you couldn't find that?
No, I looked it up on Snopes.
Oh, did it say it was... Man, I heard that story multiple times from different sources.
Yeah, mostly not true, and the part of it that was true was just about the medical vibrator. So, there's two things about this. It says Type C. I don't even know what Types A and B would be, but whatever. This is made by Hamilton Beach. It's still freaking... When I went to get a toaster...
Yeah, Hamilton Beach is still
making... They're still around.
Yeah, they're making coffee pots.
They make everything that you could ever want from Walmart.
Matter of fact, my coffee grinder downstairs is still a Hamilton Beach coffee grinder.
Yeah. So I thought that was crazy. I was like, damn, Hamilton Beach done... Now, I'm sure that over the years, maybe it moved into what you know today as the regular vibrator and women's liberation, but that's not how it started. The stories about how the vibrator started for women's lib and this and that.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that's how it started. I'm saying that's what it was used for a while.
I mean, why would you need the doctor to do that? You can't turn it on yourself?
Maybe people just didn't own them or buy them or something. I don't know.
Taylor's going to change his profession and see if he can get away with it. Good luck with that, Taylor.
Hey, there's some massage places where you can still go to pleasure the women that come in. Because they shut one down not far from here, right?
When you say not far, like 2 streets.
Well, the one that was close to us, they were masturbating men in that one. Mm-hmm. But then that other one, remember, women were going there and getting pleasured.
Yeah. Hey, man.
It was a bougie spa place. And it got shut down because women were going in there and getting pleasured by by men masseuse.
Why does anybody care? Do you.
Yeah.
Or let someone else do you. It's your choice.
Yeah. Or let a few other people do you. Whatever is your thing.
Let all the people,
let all the people do you.
So this one might be the most disturbing of all of them. And at first we need to look at the ad before we talk about it, because this one got to me. So this one says,
Zoom it.
I can't.
Oh, it doesn't zoom in.
It says, his many neglects are due to her one neglect. Why does he never remember our anniversary? And then the next spot, she says, he never pays me any compliments. Why? And in the next spot, she says, he praises other women. Why? And then in the last one, she says, he's often kept downtown. Why? And then we are provided with the answer. The asterisk of the ad, it says she was careless or ignorant about feminine hygiene. This is the one neglect that may be the real cause of so many divorces. So use Lysol for your feminine hygiene, because your man may neglect you if you're not taking care of your feminine hygiene with Lysol.
If you don't put Lysol in your cooch, he's gonna forget your anniversary.
Yeah, according to this ad, and look at other women, and be kept indisposed downtown for work. So what I started reading up on that, and I thought, how freaking weird is that? First of all, it's Lysol, and
but also, like, I think even in our lifetime, but when we were really small, feminine hygiene was a much bigger thing than it is now. Like, it used to be way more common to go to the store and buy douche.
No, but there was what about that famous lady like Gwyneth Paltrow or whatever, and she had people putting like bee pollen up their coochies.
Yeah, she's a fucking idiot.
She got in trouble because she was having people stuff bags full of herbs up their vajayjays.
Yeah.
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 So she cares about her feminine hygiene.
Right, but I'm saying in general, like, women used to it was a more common thing to just go buy douche, and now it almost seems like just older women buy it. Like, people just clean themselves. Just clean yourself.
I don't get into other people's business, but I do think it's a little bit crazy that they're suggesting that. So I started to look into the idea of this, right? And basically, what I found was it said those ads aren't frightening women into thinking that their genitals smell badly. Feminine hygiene was a euphemism. This is what they're saying. Birth control was illegal in the U.S. until 1965. For married couples, and 1972 for single people. Illegal.
Really?
What the hell?
I didn't know that. How's that possible? You mean birth control pills?
Yeah.
Or just any form of birth control?
It didn't specify.
Because, like, condoms have been around since fucking Egyptians. Like, ancient Egyptians.
But they're not in the U.S. We're talking about the U.S. The Egyptians weren't in the U.S. They were in
No,
Egypt.
I understand that, but I'm saying, like...
Where the sun probably shines a lot.
But I'm saying, like, even back in the 50s and 60s, like, there was condoms being used all over the place, right?
I'm telling you the facts. Maybe that's why AIDS was so bad. You can't just...
That's why I'm wondering if it was any form of birth control, or if it was just, like, birth control pills.
So I don't know the answer to that, so I'm not going to lie, because I didn't have a chance to look at that far into it. But it said these Lysol ads are actually for a contraceptive. The campaign from Lysol, the best-selling method of contraception during the Great Depression. So they were supposedly telling women to use Lysol so they didn't get pregnant.
Man, is it the same Lysol we have today? Because that seems like it would fuck you up.
So I looked that up. I did look it up. It wasn't exactly the same. It was a medical soap, and the content.
Did it have all the ammonia and stuff in it? Or?
Back then, all that shit was in there. Stuff that we wouldn't use nowadays anyway in Lysol.
Yeah, Lysol almost seems as bad as like putting bleach up your cooch.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a strong chemical compound.
Yeah. So this one got me. I was like, what the what? This one got me. Okay. So, and then I don't know the answer about the birth control types, but it said birth control in general.
Because I thought even in the U.S., I thought like it was like condom use has been around for a long time, but
I don't know. I mean, I was born in 75, and I know that my mom was a married person that took birth control, but then that would have been 65 for married people. So it would have been 10 years before I was born. The more you know.
It's even crazier that you had to wait even longer if you were unmarried. Like, I'm not even married. Why do I want a kid?
Right, you should wait less time if you're single, right?
It's like, well, if you're married, you can do it.
Wouldn't you rather
way earlier? But if you're not married, shit, you can start taking it at 10.
Yeah, and you can...
Whatever, you know.
That's crazy because you're like, you're unmarried and you're like, yeah, you can't prevent having children. Because they felt like when birth control came out, I feel like they really felt like birth control was promoting sex. That was a big, huge stereotype for a long time.
Well, and religion used to have a lot more to do with politics at the time, too, where it doesn't as much anymore.
Just the Catholic Church being so heavily ensconced into politics.
Right.
And their opinions. And they don't believe in abstinence. I mean, they believe abstinence. No, not really.
They just believe in having a lot of fun kids.
Yeah.
No birth control.
They believe...
Well, they believe in following the calendar where you can...
The rhythm method.
The rhythm method. That's their only birth control.
I'm not sure if they do support the rhythm method. I don't think they do.
I don't know.
As a non-Catholic, I won't try to
speak for the
Catholics anymore. The Catholics can speak for themselves. All Catholics, let us know how you handle your how you handled your birth control prior to 1965. All right. So this one was interesting. So, the cure for impotence was a goat gland, okay? A goat gland specialist was a quack who purported to treat erectile dysfunction with goat glands. In the 1920s, John Brinkley, a Kansas pharmacist and self-proclaimed doctor, there's where we get
self-proclaimed,
the self-proclaimed, like when we talked about the haunted haunts. Remember the guy that bought the health hotel and he was a radio DJ and then he cured cancer? Like the next week he bought the health spa and he was like, hey folks, DJ so-and-so here to cure all your cancer ailments. Anyway, so he I lost my track. I'm sorry. The self-reported doctor used the new medium of radio to make a name for himself, claiming he can cure. Whoa, I gotta stop taking cold meds and drinking. Claiming he could cure male impotence with a goat gland transplant. Matt.
So it's a transplant. Where is he transplanting it?
Matt, I have no fucking clue.
Is he putting it in your ball sack or something?
I didn't search further because I felt like it was knowledge that I didn't need.
Well, I need it. Not that I'm impotent. I'm just curious on what the hell where he was implanting this at. I'm like, where was he, in what gland from a goat was it? There's a lot of glands in the body.
I'll tell you what I tell everyone, every podcast. If you want to know more, go research it and you can find out all the information you want. Because I don't have time to collect all the answers to all the questions. I only know part of the answers to part of the questions. You can please some of the people some of the time. How does that saying go?
Some people all time, but not all people sometime. I don't know.
Whatever. If you want to know more, go look it up on the World Wide Web that Al Gore invented, or make a comment on our Facebook page and I'll actually look it up for you and post an article, because that's the kind of gal I am. Maybe if people have questions that I can't answer in this podcast, maybe I'll post the answers in our Facebook page when I post the video. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe.
All right. See. You ready?
Sure.
All right. I don't know how you pronounce this, but I'm going to go with ganglion. Ganglion? Because that's what it looks like.
Ganglion.
Ganglion?
Ganglion.
Yeah, ganglion cyst.
Ganglion.
Okay, so I've never seen...
Ganglion.
I've never seen...
Ganglion.
Okay, we'll go with ganglion.
Ganglion.
Okay, I've never seen one of these, but apparently they're popular. So a ganglion cyst is a cyst on the wrist that starts small, but it can grow to the size of a golf ball, and it's harmless, and it doesn't ever turn into cancer. Have you ever seen one?
I don't know.
It's on the wrist.
Only on the wrist, though.
Pretty much. I think there was like one other place it could be.
Does it have anything to do with masturbating?
No? Did somebody ask that?
No, I'm curious.
No.
Just because it's on the wrist, but it's not harmful, and you're holding a Bible, and it's against the Bible to masturbate.
Okay, so,
I thought maybe you were going to go that route with it. I was just
So in 7, I keep wanting to say 19. None of these are in 19 anything.
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
1743, a German anatomist, I don't know what line of medicine that is, Lorenz Heister, who happened to be the guy that invented the word tracheotomy, not tracheotomy, just the word, listed the treatment for ganglia, which is this, wiping the lump with saliva. Or I love these. I got to tell you all the different ones besides the Bible. Okay, it's wiping it with saliva, taking a bullet that had killed a wild animal, ideally a stag, and strapping it onto the cyst. That's just a whole lot in one sentence, isn't it? Ganglion. Okay, ganglion. Got it. So I have to repeat that one again. So taking a bullet that killed a wild animal, ideally a stag, and strapping it onto the cyst. Or rubbing it with the hand of a dead man.
This is getting weirder and weirder. Well, and I'm going to tell you how it's even the weirdest of all the weird. The fact that I've never even seen one of these. But yet, that's common enough that they have all these ailments to cure something I've never even seen or heard of anyone having.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Your doctor's like, hold on just a second. I need to go get a hand.
Let me go to the morgue real quick.
And grab a hand of a dead man. Let me
dig up Uncle Rob.
Taylor says, dig up Uncle Rob and rub his hand on my wrist. At least it's just your wrist.
I guess if you're at
least it's just your wrist, Taylor.
If you're at the doctor, you can be like, the doctor would be say, hey, follow me to the morgue real quick. We're just going to rub somebody. We got a Jane Doe in Bay 17. We'll just rub her hand.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so here's the best part. This is the best part.
Hey, I went deer hunting last week. Let me get the bullet that I pulled out of the deer.
Ideally a stag.
Well, there you go.
And you have to...
And then rub it on the...
Strap it. You have to strap it on.
Oh, strap it on there.
It's rubbing the dead person's hand, strapping the bullet on.
That means you have to recover the bullet from the stag.
Yeah.
Because it's not the casing, it's the actual bullet.
Yeah. Hey, Reefer. So, okay, so now I'll get to the Bible part, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I forgot there was actually more.
There's a Bible part. So, these are also called Bible bumps or Bible cysts, this ailment. And they believe that you can cure it by taking a Bible and hitting the cyst with it really hard. Now, I also read that you can do it with any book. And
I was going to say, not any old book. It has to be the Bible.
Now, in the olden days, it was the Bible. But right now, you can get on YouTube and there's videos of people doing it. I watched one.
Smacking it with the book?
Yeah. So I'll post one in our Facebook group. But yes, if you can't wait, yes, there's videos on YouTube of people smacking it with a big book. But,
I would not smack with anything but a Bible.
Yeah. So
smite. I would have to say smite every time too. Smite.
So what's interesting about that is that it doesn't really work. They have if you do it that way, it comes back about 33% of the time. So it kind of works.
Oh, so smacking it does make it actually go away for a minute?
But it comes back about it would probably pop it, right? Because cysts have things in them, right?
That's so weird. It's just something that only appears on the wrist. But
there's my profession. I'll hit people with books all day long.
Yeah.
he could go visit all the women, and when their husbands came home, just hit them with a book.
Yeah, masturbate the wife, smack the husband in the head with the book.
Reefer says it worked more than not. I don't know what that means. Did it actually?
Reefer, did you have one of these cysts on your wrist? Cyst on the wrist.
Cyst on the wrist. Sounds like a great little...
Cyst on the wrist. Cyst on the wrist. Looking all crazy with your cyst on your wrist.
Sorry, that was a crazy... How about I figure out what the hell I'm doing today, guys? The cold medicines and the what's going on with Dawn is not working really well. I apologize, guys. I'll go back to that one. I took a allergy med, and I didn't even think it would matter. But
allergy shouldn't.
I know, but I've had one drink all day, and I'm acting.
How's that possible when I already saw you throw a whole can in the trash?
Well, this is my second.
I've had not one drink, one beverage.
Yeah.
Not a drink of a beverage.
One alcohol.
One alcohol. Is that how you measure it? I had one alcohol. I've had 3 alcohol today.
Yeah, and Reefer did the math correctly because that means it did work about 66% of the time. Pretty sure that's what I saw. It came back at least 33% of the time. Or maybe it only worked 33% of the time. I don't know. Either way, I would think that would be really, really gross, and I don't want to think about it anymore, so I'm going to move on to the next one, okay? Malaria.
Smelling farts?
This was a common belief. When the Great Plague, in 1665, when the Great Plague hit London, they believed that you should store your farts in a jar. There's actually a book called You Should Store Your Farts in a Jar and Other Oddball Gross Malady Afflictions, Remedies, and Cures.
I have farted in jars before.
Okay. So
it wasn't for curing anything, though. It was for fucking with people. Because it does keep the smell in the jar.
Yeah, it does. So basically it said that the Great Plague happened before there was antibiotics or anything, so they lost like a lot of freaking people, like 100,000 people in under a year and a half. It was a lot of people. I wonder how COVID compares to that. But anyway, they basically had this idea that you kept it in the jar, you would capture it and keep it in the jar, and then you would let it out later, and then the smell was still there, but that's not what they were going for. They were going for the vapor, was still like the vapor of the toxicity of the fart was still
the
there.
methane gas.
Yeah, it said they figured an equally foul vapor like a fart could combat the disease, so they suggested patients store their farts in a jar. This way, when the plague appeared in their neighborhood, they could open the jar and inhale the fumes to ward off the bad disease. And I put malaria, but I think it was black plague, so I apologize for that.
I think you died of malaria last week. I think it was malaria. I got home from work and I played Oregon Trail. And you died on the trail, and I think it was from malaria, but I don't remember.
I don't think you died from malaria on Oregon Trail.
I don't remember what it was. What was it?
Oh no!
It said that you got something.
Dysentery. You always die of dysentery.
No. That was something else. Ash died of dysentery.
Oh, okay.
You died of something else, and I forgot what now. Dang it! It don't matter. It was a disease. You caught a disease, and it told me you caught a disease, and then later it tells me you died from it. But the thing with Oregon Trail, I haven't played it since I was a kid. The thing with Oregon Trail is they don't give you ways to cure people. It's just like, oh, they have this ailment. Like, it's not like you. One of your options is not like go see a doctor or go buy some medicine.
You can't like sacrifice an ox or something?
No.
I thought there was ways to cure people.
Yeah, if there is, I didn't know it. It must be some hack that I didn't know about.
No, I thought you could cure your family. No, it would say like your wife has died of dysentery. I didn't remember. I thought dysentery was the only disease.
No, there's a couple ways to die. Xander died of starvation, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah,
that was one of them. You die of starvation, dysentery. I think you can freeze.
I don't know. I'll have to Google different ways to die in Oregon Trail. I don't remember, but the state of Oregon, one of their government website has the Oregon Trail for free play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's like visitoregon.com or something, and it says, hey, before you ever visit Oregon, you should know all about the Oregon Trail. And they've got it, and you click it, and it launches a flash game, and you can play the whole Oregon Trail on there.
Taylor says that they should update the game. Yeah, they should reboot that for sure. If they can reboot Full House, they can reboot.
I don't know. Oregon Trail's good the way it is.
Really?
Yeah, that's a good game. Okay. It needs some work. It needs some way to help you combat the different things that happen, because there's no way to combat it. It's just pretty much like...
I thought there was ways. And I remember playing it on the black screen with the green text, the old school.
Because that's the way monitors were, so...
Yeah. We're old. All right, so then we'll get into what you actually asked me to do this podcast about, which is medical procedures.
Hey, look at Raina.
What?
Her first went away, so her sub just ran out, I think.
Uh-oh.
Dang, Raina, you're gonna have to sub again. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just noticed she typed something and her sub thing's not there.
All right.
Go for it.
Maybe she unfollowed us because she didn't like your comments.
Oh, that's very possible.
You did talk bad about Canadians.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was me. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, lobotomy. OMG. That lobotomy is one of the most baffling...
That is a very baffling thing that anybody even thought of this in the first place. Oh, it came back.
It came back. Woo, it's magic.
Ain't that weird?
Yeah, it is weird.
Huh.
Lobotomy is so weird.
Yeah, lobotomy is very weird.
I don't even know another word to describe it. I don't know what to say about it.
Let's put an ice pick through someone's fucking brain. Whoever thought of that?
Yeah, it says involves severing the connection in the brain's prefrontal cortex. Most of the connections to and from the prefrontal cortex, the anterior part of the frontal lobe. So yeah, the whole thing is just it's just baffling.
Yeah, whoever thought of that in the first place is just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And how did you do it and pull it off and the person didn't die?
It happened. People do die.
Oh, no, I know that. But I mean, obviously, the first time or two it happened, they didn't die, or they wouldn't have continued to do it as a treatment, right?
Yeah, but it's just supposed to subdue you, right? It's supposed to to deal with the part of your brain that takes away like anger, and you're just basically like, like, I mean, you can have that same effect on high doses of lithium and all that other shit that they used to
shock therapy was a thing too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah,
I do that sometimes.
But it's the same thing though, right? But I mean, you're literally like I don't even. And they used to have, you could watch it done like live. Like that, all that is true. They took mental patients.
I know.
They took mental
Weren't they
patients.
doing that shit in that one American Horror Story where they were in the insane asylum?
Yeah, in one of these, they did the lobotomy. And they do the, I don't talk about it, but they do the ice baths too, where they put them in the ice baths.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they drop their temperature down to like where they're about to go into hypothermia or something.
This actually will fuck you up. Like, you'll be a zombie. But the ice baths, I think that it chills you the fuck out just because you're so tired.
Yeah,
like,
but it will. I mean, but it was dangerous in the fact that it would they would leave you in there to the point of hypothermia.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that shuts your organs down. It shuts your body down. Will kill you.
Yeah, lobotomy just blows my mind. Blows my mind. And people did die from it. You said, oh, you could kill somebody. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about at first. You would think if it killed some, like, hey, let's. And also, who's the first person you tried that on? To see if it works. The first lobotomy ever. Let's see if this works and doesn't kill them. I'm going to hammer a spike through their brain. And
I've got an idea. Hey, guys. I've got an idea. I guess probably prisoners. They did that a lot of things. There's some really, really sad history on how medical procedures like that were tested. And it's really, I don't want to get into it because it's really disheartening how they did test things like that.
Oh, no, I know.
It's really disgusting and disheartening how that was tested.
Well, a lot of it was done on mental patients anyways. Because they're like, oh, well, if they die, who cares? They're fucked up.
You're correct.
You know?
So in 1938, a psychiatrist colleague, Lucio Bini, developed the first ECT device that treated their human patient that was diagnosed with schizophrenia and delusions, hallucinations, and confusion. The treatment worked as planned, and the patient's condition improved markedly. Beginning in the 1940s, the electrical technique was adopted by most every major psychiatric institute. So this was the real deal. Like, people really, really thought that shock therapy was the answer.
And they used that for quite some time, right?
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah, they did for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just torture, basically. It was torture. Yeah. It didn't do anything, and they used it for a long time.
Yeah, they did. And then it basically stopped when they started finding the antipsychotics and the other drugs, like the lithium and the Halidol and the all the other drugs that they could have a medical, pharmaceutically control the patient. Because you want, a lot of them were combative, and that was part of the problem, was that they needed to be subdued. Mm-hmm. That was where the lobotomy came from, right? And then the shock therapy was more for like hysteria and schizophrenia. I'm trying to make it through this without losing my mind. I'll cough.
Your eyes are starting to get real watery too.
Yeah, I think it's starting.
I don't know if they can see it through the camera, but you're getting some red eyes.
That's starting to wear off. I apologize, guys. So yeah, shock therapy as well was a same thing, but like a lot of women tended to get the shock therapy, because I watched a lot of and read a lot of documentaries and movies. People would send women that were too outspoken and too opinionated. They would send them to psychiatric hospitals, and they would be tortured by these techniques, shock therapy and all of this. And I mean, it's not women that had radical beliefs, like, oh, that woman's crazy, she needs to go to a psych ward. I mean,
before it just meant you were a witch and it would burn you.
Burn her.
She's a witch.
But if you'd ever watched that movie that was based on a true story, Changeling, remember that? The Changeling, where the lady's child was kidnapped and they brought her back a different child?
Oh, yeah.
And they tried to convince her, like, this is a true story. They tried to convince her that that was her kid, and she's like, this is not my kid. And they're like, you're nuts, that's your kid. And they put her in a psychiatric hospital, and they were like, you can't come out until you say that's your kid. And the kid was like, she like had a thing where she would mark its height and stuff on the wall, and like she knew the birthmarks on the kid, and she's like, this is not my kid. And they're like, she's a witch, put her in a psychiatric hospital. But that happened a lot to women.
But the witch thing is crazy to me. I mean, I know it's like we make fun of it like she's a witch, but that really happened in real life, and that's crazy that they literally tied women up and burned them alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they didn't like what they were saying.
Correct.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, just nuts.
And it's the same thing. Like, a lot of the women in psychiatric hospitals are people whose husbands... I even watched a few things where the husband wanted to move on with his life, so he had his wife committed.
Yeah. Or, like, wanted a new wife or something, or was having an affair and wanted to be with the new woman.
That's what I meant by wanting to move on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was, like, having an affair, and divorce was not legal, or whatever. And so it's like, well, she's crazy as fuck. I have her committed, and now I can legally separate from my wife and move on with this.
Yeah, and those
hoochie
women,
mama.
And those women were. And what was that? There was a movie with Winona Ryder. Remember that? That girl movie where they were in the psych ward. All the girls. I can't think of the movie, but it was old. It was from the 90s. But they weren't like crazy. Like a lot of them were fine, and they were. I think it had the Helena Bonham Carter that you like.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
But they would.
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
She was in
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
I love Sweeney Todd.
But they would like torture them and stuff because they shock therapy and all that. I didn't remember if that happened in that movie, but basically women were being tortured that were perfectly fine. Now, what would be worse than being a fucking crazy person having shock therapy is being perfectly normal, like nothing wrong with you.
That's what I'm saying. It was basically used as torture at that point.
And they did that, you're right, in one of the American Horror Stories. The lady was perfectly fine.
Well, I remember them giving a lobotomy to one of them, and then they were just a zombie the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm. So shock therapy.
Shock therapy.
I'm going to make it through this podcast if it's the last thing I do.
You know what fixes that?
Cocaine.
Or gin.
I
was going to say gin. But
or heroin cough drops, or what was it? Cocaine.
I don't know where to get cocaine. That's the difference. I have no idea where to get cocaine. I know where to find some gin.
Gin will fix it?
Gin will fix it.
I may have the cure to my ailment.
I have the cure for it.
And if anybody listening knows where I can find the new Snoop Dogg gin, it's all sold out. And I didn't know I wanted it until I saw it wasn't on the shelf.
Yeah, we were at the liquor store. She was looking at gins, and they have a new one that came out that Snoop Dogg is promoting.
Yeah.
And it's not Tanqueray, which is odd. But it was right next to Tanqueray, so maybe it's made by Tanqueray. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But anyways, it was just an entire empty row with the little ad with Snoop Dogg on it. I'm like, wow, that was a popular gin.
And I didn't know I wanted it until that moment.
I don't remember what it was called now. It was a play on words. Whatever the name was had 2 G's in it, kind of like Snoop Dogg does. I love his
play on words because remember when he calls Bad Bunny? And then he's like, why are you calling me on my cell phone?
Who just calling me on my cell phone?
Why you be calling me?
He's like, yo, man, this is Bad Bunny.
Why you be calling me on my cell phone? Oh, we derailed. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let's talk about radium.
All right, let's talk about radium.
Lots of like radium water cures. This is another cure-all. This is another...
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Taylor.
Indigo.
Yeah.
Indigo.
Yes.
I told you, I just remember it had 2 G's in it like his name
I'm
does.
going to the liquor store.
Have you had it, Taylor?
I'm going to the liquor store every day this week.
Until they have it? Well, just go online. You could probably find it and order it. They probably have a Total Wine or something.
We can't because we're Texas and we don't order alcohol to our house.
I thought that changed when COVID happened. I thought you can get alcohol delivered now.
Just wine, I believe.
No, I think you can get liquor now. Oh, he's been hearing promotions. I didn't hear any promotions. We just happened to see the ad at the liquor store, but...
And I suddenly wanted it. Like, I suddenly felt like
I
had FOMO.
She needed that.
I was like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, he says, he's ordering alcohol now, so you can.
Ooh, are you in Texas, Taylor? Yeah, he said he was out by Austin. Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe he can come hang out with us when we go to our August thing.
Where's that at again?
New Braunfels.
Oh, New Braunfels is where we're going.
New Braunfels. Sorry. Okay, so this is another cure-all. Gout, periodical headaches, I don't know what neuralgia is, constipation, these are old, and auto intoxication. I feel like that's what I have every weekend. I automatically intoxicate. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Lack of bodily vigor. That's what you have.
What do I have?
Lack of bodily vigor.
What's wrong with my vigor? What's wrong with my vigor?
Do you need a goat gland?
I need a goat gland for my vigor. Tell me more about that goat gland. Do I need to get one implanted?
That just kind of sounds nasty. I didn't read up on it because I didn't want to know.
That's crazy too.
I knew you'd have questions, but I'm like, I don't want to know.
You should have at least looked at an answer or two, but it's all
Yeah,
right.
I will. I'll post some stuff on our Facebook page. I'll post all the answers. Hit me up with all the questions. Hit them with
Tanner said to hit me with the Bible.
Oh, yeah. So this water, like radioactive water, was a big thing. Big thing. So.
And it looked like you bought or rented a radone.
Oh, with our rayode. This little device
made the
containing
radium
enough to supply 2,700 Mach units maybe, of radioactivity in 2 quarts of water every 24 hours for less than 10 cents a day. The rayode will last a lifetime. And I love how you could like write away for literature.
But look, yeah, but under the right of way, look, it says that you can literally buy or rent one. They were renting them out.
Wow. So all the people delivering the mail got radiated
They all
as
got
well.
radiation.
That's probably worse than Chernobyl.
I
We
doubt
talked
it.
about when we talked about in our last podcast how they had the most radiation of all of the two.
You know what?
Than Fukushima.
That was one of my favorite things that you talked about last week because, or I guess it was the week before now, huh?
Yeah, because we missed last week.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had to have graduation photos. One more down and one to go.
Yeah. No, the fact that I had no idea, because one of the main visionaries or, that we have about Chernobyl is the theme park, right? Because that's like every picture, everywhere, it shows the little theme park. Yeah. I guess it was a theme park. It was more of like a fair or something that was being set up, I think.
No, it was like a Moody Gardens type thing, wasn't it?
Well, I had no idea that was never in operation.
No.
Until you told me that.
No.
That's even weird to me that they had, that Ferris wheel was one that's never even been used and stuff. That's just...
Yep. If you guys want to look up more about that, you can go online or you can watch episode 13.
Or like Nightbot just said, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel.
You could.
Because Nightbot likes to tell you things like that and then tell Taylor to stop being toxic.
Apparently, if you type in... Nightbot does not like it if you type in caps. Okay, so I picked up a few more procedures because you had asked about those specifically. You can try to pronounce that. It's on the screen.
Yeah, but it's smaller up there.
You're going to mess up my stuff and
All
make
right,
everybody
fine.
get a seizure.
Trepanation?
Okay, we're going to go with that. Also, making or burring a burr hole into the person's
that dude
skull.
already looks dead.
It's a surgical intervention in which a hole is drilled or scraped into the human skull to like let it. It's supposed to relieve pressure. They actually use. Raina, you got away with it. Okay, so
What'd she get away with?
She's typing in all caps the Nightbot.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. So
partial caps.
Yeah. So she's playing around with Nightcap. Taylor's
like, what? I can't do that. Nightbot just hates Taylor.
Sorry, Taylor. So you drill or bore a hole and it's supposed to relieve pressure. There's still a version of that today. The best part, like where
they did it in Saw.
But I mean,
in Saw 4?
In medical practices.
It was a medical practice.
They were Saw 4 was trying to help somebody.
Yeah. Well, he was dying. Have you never seen the Saws?
Have you ever seen the Saws? I've seen the first 2 Saws.
So basically, he was dying of cancer, and he had all this thing, but he needed to finish his thing, and so they kidnapped Amanda Young. Went and kidnapped a doctor.
Okay.
To come and they put this contraption on her neck that had shotguns all around it, and if Jigsaw died, John, it would go off and she would die. It would blow her head off. Okay. So her job was to keep him alive so he could finish his last thing happen. He could witness it. His last game. Let's play a game. That's the thing. So to watch his last game happen, if he was to die, the shotgun's going to blow her head off.
Yeah.
So her job was to keep her alive. Well, at one point, the pressure was getting in his head. Like, he was dying, and she had to go get a drill and stuff. She had to drill a hole in his head, and then she had to cut with the saw and remove a piece of his skull and relieve the pressure from his head to keep him alive.
So the reason it didn't work so much back then, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about this.
It was like it worked. I cussed in caps.
So oh my gosh. Sorry. So the reason this didn't work back then was because there was really no way to keep it clean, So they still do a version of it now, and it works. But it's because
like it did in Saw 4.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So I don't know about
It might have been Saw 3. I think it was Saw 3.
that aside, because I
Okay.
know that you really wanted to talk about that in this podcast, I need to talk to you about this photograph, please, because we need it first.
Like, because he's wearing a funnel on his head, and that's crazy, and
okay.
she's got a book on her.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you all these questions.
I don't even know. I don't even. We have to talk. Okay, so he's got like a Tin Man funnel on his head. She's got a book on her head. He has got a huge cod piece.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, that aside.
And he's short because his feet are barely reaching the ground.
I really like this chair because it gives you a place to put your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to leave.
And he's short because he's leaning forward in the chair and his feet are barely touching the ground.
No, those are his, yeah. But look, you don't have to, like, just leave your shoes out all willy-nilly.
Yeah, they go into
the chair. You can put them in the chair. Mm-hmm. I thought that was rather interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I want to tell you, and he just carries a jug around. I think this is the coolest picture ever. I want to have this framed. If anybody, I want this in my home. Like,
print it.
It's a talking point. And then this, yeah, it's just, there's so much going on in this piece of art. So much. Like, why?
She said, where is the Lysol that was being used on vaginas?
Who said that?
Raina said, where was the Lysol that was being used by vaginas? They couldn't keep the whole...
Yeah, because,
they couldn't keep this whole clean with the Lysol.
It was tied up with the... It was being used on vajayjays.
That was for vajayjay only.
Vajayjay only Lysol.
That was vagina...
Yeah.
Vagina
Yeah, you
Lysol.
can't be just using Lysol on everything. It's not a cure-all. No.
Yeah, Lysol wasn't a cure-all. It was strictly a contraceptive.
Man, if you had a stinky cooch during COVID, you'd be up a creek because there wasn't Lysol to be found anywhere.
That's true. Well, it's still during COVID, technically.
Your
You mean at the
your husband would be looking at other women.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what would be going on in your house.
Even though they'd have stinky cooches, too.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have...
Because they don't have Lysol either.
Okay. So, malaria therapy.
Letting mosquitoes bite you?
Yeah. So basically, this one's interesting to me. So basically, they were having people they were giving people malaria to fight syphilis, because to fight syphilis, a high fever will fight it off, and malaria causes you to have a high fever. So they were giving people malaria to get them to have a high fever so that they could cure encephalitis. And you can guess how well that went.
You know what's funny to me about syphilis?
No?
The fact that the word syphilis sounds like it's something to do with the English language.
What do you mean?
I don't know. The word syphilis just sounds like something you would use to describe a word structure or something. No, you
That's
did...
a syllabus.
No, I know, but syphilis still... No, well, a syllabus is an actual...
Right, okay.
No. But like, I'm thinking more of like a synonym. You know, like, this is a synonym.
I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm trying to get
This
on
is
your
a synonym.
train.
This is punctuation.
Not a synonym.
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 Synonym. This is punctuation.
This is cinnamon.
This is abbreviation. This is syphilis.
No.
This is like, it just sounds like a word that you would use to describe literature.
Yeah, I can't get on your train, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they may have died, but at least it wasn't from syphilis.
Right, it got the ratings down for syphilis, so they only had to report the malaria. It did work. It actually could cure syphilis, but then you had to not die from malaria. Yeah, exactly what Raina was alluding to. So it did the ends justify the means?
I guess it depends on which numbers you were trying to fudge.
Fair enough. And there's a lot of terrible, terrible histories about syphilis and what they did to find cures for syphilis. It's really disturbing what they did. I'm not going to talk about that here, but so yeah, he did. He just compared synonyms to syphilis.
I didn't compare it. I'm just saying the word itself sounds like it belongs in the same genre.
They're both in the dictionary.
That's true.
Under S.
That's true also.
Oh, mercy. We're almost done, which is great because my medicine's pretty much worn off. You want to keep going? I think we have one more and that's it. Oh, right. One or two more. Okay?
Well, it's a short show then. Let's do it.
Well, it's an hour and 10.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Medical cannibalism. So, cannibalism, this is another one. This is like another cure-all, which is really weird.
Well, I noticed back in the day of Quacky medicine, almost everything was some kind of cure-all.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Even the traveling now I can't even say that word. Apothecaries. You know, the ones that used to have
Does that sound like an English word too?
Yeah. But, they would travel, like, from town to town, and they'd set up their little cart, and, come get the, just take 2 teaspoons of this once a week, and you'll regrow your hair. Oh, hey, ma'am, this right here will make your cooch not smell. Oh, this will make your nose not run. And it was the same fucking thing.
The same bottle.
Yeah, it was the same fucking thing.
Dr. Pepper's cure-all. Yeah. Raina, I don't know if the chicken Moulin Rouge died of syphilis. I don't remember anything about Moulin Rouge except for itchy, yeah. That's all I remember.
I don't know anything about Moulin Rouge except for it had, what's her face, Nicole Kidman in it,
Taylor
right?
said no, she died of synonyms. Hey, why did our moderator...
I'm trying to see who got timed out Raina. Oh, that time. She must have tried to do a lot of...
Oh, Raina got timed out and they removed 35 messages from our chat.
I don't think it's really 35.
It says 35.
I know. I think maybe it's letters. I don't know. Bitch stops. She spammed emotes. Oh, she was spamming emotes and they timed her out.
You guys are too
I'm going to have to go fuck with my settings so that Nightbot will leave y'all the fuck alone.
She said, bitch, stop censoring my shit. Okay.
And then she corrected it and still spelled it with an S.
Well, okay. So cannibal therapy, it's hard to stay on topic today. It's hard to stay on topic.
That's okay.
It's okay. All right.
It does keep things entertaining. I kind of like Nightbot fucking with people. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So cannibal therapy. Medical cannibalism is the consumption and use of the human body, dead or alive, to treat diseases. Hey, remember when we did Drunk History? And Yvonne and I talked about cannibalism? That was our topic.
Yes.
We have a really fun video of Drunk History somewhere.
Somewhere.
I
don't know where it's at.
All right. So medical trade and pharmacological. Woo!
Pharmaceutical?
Pharmacological. Okay. Use of the human body parts and fluids arose from the belief that because a human body is able to heal itself, it can also help heal another human body. So, yeah, we did our drunk history was on cannibalism as a cure, wasn't it?
I know cannibalism was involved, but I don't remember exactly what the topic was.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I will not be posting that one.
Yeah. Well, we posted it on like a friends only group or something.
We did not share that with the general public.
No, we did not. So
drunk history is fun.
Yeah. For those of you probably know this, but there is a show called Drunk History. And basically what they do is they give a celebrity a topic and they have them research that topic and learn about that topic. And then they get them smashed and then they ask them questions.
Like smashed like they're throwing up into trash.
Yeah, like literally smashed.
Yeah.
And then they film them explaining this topic drunk.
It's
so
great.
They learn the topic and they get full knowledge of the topic, but then they have to go back and explain this topic drunk. Mm-hmm. It's funny as fuck. It's an old show. It was a long time ago,
it's so much fun.
But you can still find it on YouTube and I think maybe Netflix or somewhere. I don't know, but it's a fun show. Yeah, it's a comedy.
And we redid.
And so her and her friend Yvonne, on purpose,
got drunk.
I forgot the topic, but we gave them a topic. And they watched a YouTube video on that topic for education 75 times. They wouldn't quit watching it. And then they got drunk.
Wanted to be prepared.
And then I filmed them explaining that topic. And it was a hoot.
It was.
It was a hoot. We should do that live one day.
So real quick on this picture, because I love the pictures, but that ginger, if you look, it's like that ginger is like, what the fuck you doing, homies? Eating my friend. Look, he's very unhappy about that. He's like...
He seems to not be about it, for
sure.
He's
not about it. He's like, I don't know what's going on over there. And then this lady has the same problem that wrestler we were watching the other day did. Her nipples is too low.
Well, no, her boobies are just hanging real low.
Yeah, they hang low.
Her nipples probably used to be here, and now they're just here, because that's where gravity has taken them.
So homeboy wasn't happy about them eating his relative. All right. You ready for the last one? Last one. You know what the last one is?
I thought you said that was the last one.
Nope, I have one more.
I mean, I'm fine with more. I
said there's at least one or two more.
Oh, okay.
The next one is the last one. Are you ready for the last one? Do you know what the last one is? It's always the best one.
Oh, the last one is the best one. I thought you actually wanted me to guess what it was.
No. Okay, guess.
I was like leeches, but you already told me that's not it.
Go ahead, keep guessing.
No, I'm not going to guess.
I'm going to stay here till you guess it right.
Because I won't guess it.
You should.
No, it won't happen.
Go to the next one. It's cornflakes.
Cornflakes was a medicine? I just used cornflakes poorly to try to fry fish with, and they turned out black.
Yeah, you If you get...
I fried some catfish today.
If you get the cornflake spreading...
You cannot cook it on a high... You cannot fry them on a high heat. It literally turns black on a high heat.
We had a big basket of charcoal
Like,
briquettes.
it will turn black before the fish cooks. It's fucking nuts. But, yeah.
All right, according to History.com, Battle Creek Sanitarium, America's most popular medical spa in the early 20th century, may be best known as the birthplace of cornflakes. Okay? But some might say the biggest flake to come out of Battle Creek was the man in charge, John Kellogg. He was an actual quack.
Yeah, I actually think I remember hearing the stories about him kind of now.
So he invented Kellogg's that was supposed to have I guess they touted it as like a healthy breakfast, like a well-rounded breakfast or whatever. The reason, but he was a real quack. He worked at that sanitarium. He was a real quack. He sold all kinds of quacky medicines. He wasn't just a quack because of that. He was also staunchly anti-masturbation.
Oh, fuck that guy.
He ran a church, and he was one of the loudest anti-masturbation voices. He was very uncomfortable with sex as a whole, thinking it was detrimental to your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. He personally abstained from it.
The funny thing about that is it's all those things have actually been proven now to be opposite.
So he actually was so much against sex, not just masturbation, that he abstained from it completely, never consummated his marriage, and kept separate bedrooms with his wife and adopted all of their children. That's how big he was. So, the reason I included this is because there's a meme going around that says that this was invented as, and marketed as an anti-masturbatory morning meal. It was supposed to give you your fiber and everything, and it was supposed to help prevent masturbation. That is not true.
Okay, it's not true.
It was never marketed as such, but he is a huge...
But because he was a huge proponent of that, people just associated with that.
Right. People...
So really it was just a healthy cereal.
It was a healthy... Well, he toted it for medical purposes because he was a quack.
Right.
But he didn't claim that it prevented masturbation.
Right.
But he did for all his other quacky shit that he promoted. So Kellogg's was a... Yeah. And he was a W.K. Kellogg, but Dr. Kellogg.
Yeah, he sounded like an asshole. Sounded like he needed laid. He needed to get laid.
He ran a church. He ran some weird fundamentalist church.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I thought you would find that interesting.
So did David Koresh.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a total prude. Yeah. Can't please myself today. I ate cornflakes this morning.
Fuck that. I eat cornflakes and I don't give a
fuck.
fuck.
No, if you eat cornflakes, you won't want to please yourself.
I still will want to.
They'll just please you.
Nah.
So, yeah, so I thought you'd...
They won't please me like a fleshlight.
Ew.
I still have never had a fleshlight.
You just said that. Now I'm not going to be able to post this to YouTube.
Shouldn't I? Or has anyone used the fleshlight?
Tim,
Are they good?
Stop. We're not going to be able to get this on YouTube now. Oh, my word.
YouTube don't give a fuck about that.
Oh, I can't believe you said that. I hope my mom doesn't listen to this one. Ugh, how uncomfortable.
Go, that's the last one?
I can't even end. Now I have to end on that?
On what? I mean, talking about a fleshlight?
Ew.
There are so many worse things than that. A fleshlight's probably not even a bad thing.
Don't say it again. That's like the 9th time you've said it. I'm surprised that freaking Nightbot hasn't blocked you yet.
I'm not typing in chat.
From our own podcast. No one typed that in. No one.
Somebody type in fleshlight and see if Nightbot censors it.
Please don't.
It's not flashlight. It's fleshlight.
Okay, they got it. They got it. They literally got it. You don't have to do that. Oh my god.
Yeah, see, it works. It's fine. No censorship.
I work so hard every week on this podcast.
And I help you out.
Don't
afterwards. By giving you great content.
Is there a way to bleep out most of the last of this before we post it?
No, it's live. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to make our face group adult rated now. Thanks, Raina. Thanks, Taylor. Good looking out.
See, it works.
So next week on CraZy Talk.
It works lowercase and capital.
Next week on CraZy Talk with ReddMetal.
We're talking about fleshlights.
We're not.
The invention of the fleshlight.
No, we're not. Stop. I'm going to take my hand off and you're going to...
Not just the fleshlight, though.
Stop saying it. I just need to finish. Please, I just have to say one more sentence.
I was going to say all sex toys in general.
Can you stop?
Okay.
I just have to get one sentence out.
Okay, get your sentence out.
Next week on CraZy Talk with ReddMetal, we will discuss random shit. Join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for our weekly podcast where we talk about all things appropriate and inappropriate. Bye!
Taylor said fleshlights included.
Bye! End it. End the stream.
All right, but I got to say bye.
Okay.
Fleshlights. Okay, see you next Sunday. I do game Tuesday and Thursday. You can tune in for that as well. But definitely come in next Thursday. If you've watched and you haven't followed, give us a follow too. All right.
Bye.
Peace.